Hey guys, alright, so we have Soulkey versus Rush on, I didn't happen to catch this map. If you guys know what it is, let me know. Actually, you know what, I will just back up. We can find out. Salamander, okay, I don't know Salamander all that well. So, again, very interesting game. Alright, we have Soulkey versus Rush on Salamander. This is taken from stream on July the 17th. So, looking forward to seeing these two duke it out yet again after I cast them a couple days ago. So, Soulkey, as I said in my last cast, Soulkey is one of those players who has these flashes of brilliance. He can be, I think, one of the best players in the world. But then he also slumps really hard. So, we saw him during the ASL 3 and the SSL Classic. He played like a god during the group stages. He honestly, everything was on point. He was playing really, really smartly. And since then, it just hasn't quite been there. So I want to see him bounce back and become the kind of world-class player that I know he can be. But I just haven't quite seen that inspiration coming out from him. So I think it's a pretty good matchup versus Rush. Rush is a pretty good player, well-known streamer, but definitely not one of the top tier, flash last type of players. Still, he's a pretty good challenge for Soulkey. I think they're still on the same level, which is, pretty good, slightly below the best. Can definitely have some flashes of brilliance, and they always seem to have some pretty epic games. I never see a Soulkey versus Rush game where things don't go super crazy. So looking forward to seeing this game. Is it just me or is it dropping like a couple frames? This is just like really laggy feeling. Hopefully we'll just deal with it. We'll just pretend, oh, this is a game made in 1998, so it's meant to look this bad. Anyhow, so we see Soulkey going for the hatch first. He's going to be scouting across the map as well. He's going to be going for that 13 pool, a little bit greedier. Or he could be going for the triple hatch. Not likely. It's possible. Oh, wait. Is he? Oh my god, he is going for the triple hatch. I was just kidding, you guys. I was just kidding. Okay, we have triple hatch before pool. It's nice to be wrong occasionally. So, triple hatch before pool. That's going to be a very strong economic opening. It is... I hope he's just like trying to see how big that is. Okay, that was interesting. I was worried he was actually going to put down an Evo chamber. I was like, what are you doing? It looks like he was just trying to figure out where he wanted to put his spawning pool. Not that I think the placement is that important in ZDT. Anyhow, so he's going to scout his opponent out across map. And actually, it looks like it's going to be a CC first. So it was pretty smart to go for that triple hatch before pool opening. It's going to put him pretty on par with the Terran player early on, and good harassment of this SCV as well. It's going to force him to pull off and delay the building of the command center just a little bit. And typically what you see is a follow-up with double racks, which we do see in the main. So the double racks is really nice, and it definitely opens up some timings for the Terran player. We saw, I'm trying to remember who did it. I think it was Flash versus Shine. I think it was Flash versus Shine in the finals of ASL 3, where Flash went for a CC first into a Firebat timing just before Mutalisk came out. So there's definitely a possibility for that, but with a triple hatch before pool, I think it's much more likely that Soulkey will actually be able to stay ahead in the economy and be able to deal with any sort of early pressures that come his way, because he'll have the economy. He's not going to be cutting any corners to actually get to the Mutalisk the way that he needs to. He's already cut all the corners he needs to. So really late on these lings, he doesn't mind showing off that he is going to be going for that layer, but he does want to eventually push this SCV out of the base so he can put down his tech choice. And now that he's got the SCV out of his main, he could definitely put down a Hydra Den if he wants to and go for Lurkers first. But I think, considering how late the Hydra Den is, we're probably going to be seeing a Spire. As I say that, he just sent something to middle of his bases, so we may see a Hydrogen. Yeah, there's Hydrogen. Okay, I was wrong. So we are going to be seeing those lurkers coming out. It's a little bit later than you would normally see for a Hydrogen. I wonder if he'll be going for it. Recently there's been a style where Zerg players will get both the Spire and the Hydrogen and just make the opposite of whatever the Terran opponent scans. So if your Terran opponent scans the Hydrogen, you just make Mutilus. If they scout the Spire, then you just make the lurkers. But looks like it's just going to be lurkers, pure lurkers. We're going to see if he goes for that effort-esque contain. Effort really likes to go early lurkers and just kind of contain his opponent. Or if he's going to go for a little bit more of an economical play, get up at earlier third base and just kind of defend it with smart lurker placement across the map. And kind of a contain, but a softer contain than normal. So we'll have to see what he decides to go. It looks like he is going to be throwing down that third base quite early, already moving across the map with these Hydralisks, so he's definitely planning on being very aggressive with these Hydralisks while taking the third base behind it. Very smart play by Soulkey, and it really just depends on what his opponent is going to do to respond to this. Rush may decide to... We still don't know what Rush's tech is. He may be going for a 5-racks build. He may be going a little bit more quickly into the tanks and science vessels. We're really not sure at this point in time. So mostly it's just going to be Soulkey playing kind of aggressively, kind of keeping his opponent pinned back. But he is going to be playing a little bit safer. He's not going to be going for that hardcore lurker contain like we usually see Effort do. He's actually just going to more stuff on top of his ramps and play a little bit safer while scouting out his opponent and just kind of being annoying with these lings. This is really nice because it buys him enough time to get the lurkers out and get them in the positions that he needs right now. So we're going to have to see if he's going to do the later Mutilus switch or if he's just going to go straight into Hive. That's usually the next interesting point of this build, is once you get the lurkers in, you're in pretty good shape, but you have to figure out what you're going to do next. And against the SK style, SK Terran, where you get the 5 racks and you get the 2 starports and just drop continually, generally getting that Spire up earlier is a better option than going for the Hive earlier, just because it's easy for the bio to run around Dark Swarms, but it's much more difficult to deal with Spire play because obviously drops are pretty weak against Scourge and Mutilus. But Soulkey, you do see Soulkey is pulling back right now. Oh, excuse me. Soulkey's pulling back right now, just playing ultra defensively. Scan does come in. It looks like actually the front may try to be broken, and there's a lot of these Marines right here. Very nice split, but just not enough time. The Sunkens finish, and they're going to be able to kill off all this for only 1 lurker. Really bad trade there for Rush. I think he expected the Sunkens to be a little bit later than they actually were, and he thought he could actually snipe the lurkers on time, but unfortunately he wasn't able to target fire well enough, and it looks like a lot of his Marines actually target fired the Sunken colony instead of the lurkers. They've been able to kill off the lurkers. I think there's a definite possibility he actually cleans up there, but just a little bit of inattention from him definitely causes that to be a poor trade. So Divider Mound coming down right now for Soulkey. He's going to be heading into that Hive tech right now. Meanwhile, just continuing to play defensively. He doesn't really need to play for any sort of aggression right now. He doesn't need to do anything crazy. He can just sit back and enjoy the freedom that he has on the map. Ugh, excuse me. He definitely needs that Nidus Canal going up to his 3rd. He still hasn't gotten that down, so that might become an issue for him later on. But there it is. It's going down right now. So that's going to allow him to quickly reinforce. If drops are coming in pretty soon, he's going to be able to deal with it. And at this point, I feel like drops have to be incoming because there's no army, and to throw away your army that easily... Wait, what is this? What is this? There's a tank at the natural. Okay, well, this is a little bit unexpected. There's just like a tank sitting there. I suppose there's probably bio behind it, but it's a little bit strange, that's all. So this is going to be able to hold this off for a little while. If the first science vessel is out, it's not going to be too hard to snipe. But I love this play, just going ahead and splitting off to the Scourge to go ahead and go to the top side of the map. And, what? Rush? What? What did I just see? Well, okay, sorry. Well, Rush just suicided his entire army in to kill, like, 2 lurkers. He was able to break the front, but with Storm now, it's going to be a lot easier to go ahead and push his opponent back. So Soulkey's in actually a pretty decent spot. He's going to be able to pick off both these tanks, and that's a pretty big deal because it's going to be basically impossible to push back the tanks for a while. Meanwhile, Rush playing a little bit greedy, trying to build his third base at his third base, and it's really coming back to bite him. If he just builds that at his natural and flies it over, it's so much easier. It's a little bit slower, but considering all of the Zergling harass that's come his way, it probably would have been smarter to just go ahead and fly it over. So Soulkey doing a really good job. He's defended his natural. He's defended the really big scary pushes. He's getting his 4th base up right now, and he's got the hive tech up. So Soulkey in a really great spot. He is floating a little bit of money, which I think is interesting. I don't know if that's just a side effect of just everything that's been going on so far, but he is going to be building a couple more hatcheries to fuel his income right now. So that's going to be really nice. Meanwhile, I would like to see him just push across the map with this group that he has at his natural. He could definitely do some damage at that third base if he pushed across the map right now. So good, he's following my lead. Good boy. Thank you for following my instructions. Couple of, oh wow, that was an amazing mine hit. So it looks like Rush is already going into that mech switch already. He's already making the couple of, oh, really nice plague there on those Marines. That's going to be really obnoxious to deal with later on. But it looks like he's already going to that mech switch. He's got a couple of vultures with mines. So we are going to be going into the late game for sure. This is going to be super, super epic, I think. Building a second Nidus Canal. I love when Zerg players do this. This is a new thing. I feel like that wasn't done very much in the past, but it has been catching on recently. It's just building 2 Nidus networks. You build one to your natural, one to your main. Or, well, one to your third base, one to your 4th base. You get what I mean. And it just makes it so much easier to reinforce because you're reinforcing to the exact correct base that you need to be going to. And actually, he's actually corresponding it with his main and natural as well, so that's pretty interesting. Really nice play to snipe that science vessel as it was coming in. Soulkey in a pretty commanding lead right now, even though his opponent is probably expanding across the map. In our Larva versus Flash game that we were watching earlier, we saw Flash, this was the time period where Flash was getting 5-6 bases across the map. So there's definitely a possibility for Rush to be doing that right now, now that he's got the map control with the spider mines across the map. But we don't see any vultures really making much of a difference out in the middle of the map, so it's a little surprising to see that. Really nice Plague there. I'm not sure if Plague was the best response. I guess Plague is pretty good because it means this bio is going to be useless later on. But I think a Swarm probably would have been stronger there because he just would have been able to kill off that group. Maybe just thinking a little bit more forward to the end game right there. So Defiler, or sorry, Ultra's Cavern coming down right now. And with these 4 gases up, it's going to be really, really easy for him to actually deal with any sort of pressure coming in. And he's definitely setting up a timing where if you hit like 150 supply with Ultras, it's going to be pretty damn scary. And I love this. I love seeing early Overlord play because it means that you can go ahead and push it out across the map right now. You can do harassment at several different locations, and it's annoying to deal with. It's just very obnoxious. So we do see links coming in at the top, links coming in at the bottom. and meanwhile drop coming in as well. So very smart play by Soulkey, just being all over the place. He is going to lose all of his lings in the top and mid, but that's okay because it was all smokescreen for this play right here. He is going to try to get another one of these lurkers in here underneath the Dark Swarm, but it's not going to happen. This is going to be cleaned up eventually. He is going to cancel that base though, which is really nice. That is going to slow down the turns economy significantly, and just be annoying with these couple of lings. Meanwhile, it looks like the ultras are on the way. He's going to be waiting for those ultras upgrades, as well as things like his +1 or +2/+2, stuff like that. And once he gets enough of those upgrades, then it's going to be go time. You're going to see him flick the switch really quickly, but he's actually going to be going for a couple more drop plays instead, which I really love to see. I love seeing drop play early on in this matchup. And doing a really good job right now of just waiting for as long as possible to actually drop that Defiler. Really smart play. And another drop coming into the main right now, as well as a couple lings getting into this space over here. So that's very obnoxious to deal with. And there's only one missile turret here. Lots of units are going to be able to get in here. Like these cracklings are going to just rip down these supply depots. It's going to be really brutal. And this is one of those times where you really want to focus on the supply depots with the Zerglings, because the more supply depots you take down, the longer it takes for your opponent to rebuild them. And it's very easy to actually just completely stop the mech army from building for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's actually insane how strong cracklings are against supply depots. So they're going to kill off all those supply depots. This is really, really brutal right now for Rush. Rush actually has absolutely nothing to deal with this. And while this may get cleaned up eventually, it's going to be a slow but inevitable death for him. His main base is completely ransacked. This is actually amazing how much damage this drop did. Lings are so good. Holy crap. So yeah, so all of this stuff going down, we see more harassment coming in, more units, and at this point, Soulkey, all he has to do is just continually make units and flood them across the map. His units are eventually going to outlast his opponents, and with all the supply depots killed off, Rush actually can't make anything at all right now. He's actually just completely useless. So this is pretty brutal. It means that Soulkey's going to easily be able to take control of the bottom half of the map. And there's the GG from Rush. He just lost way too much of his main right now.